Good evening, everybody. We are watching the white male political beef. It's not as fun as the black millennial rap beef, but
it's a beef nevertheless.
It's a beef nonetheless. It's very not. I'm very excited to see the creativity of black folks this evening as they put all of the diss tracks, Kendrick's diss tracks, I want to be very clear, underneath these clips. So wop, 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 wop. Buy them up. I'm gonna do my stuff. Like, I think it's gonna be great. I think it's euphoria. We got into like Not Like Us, particularly when he started bringing up like his 34 counts of chicanery and foolishness, him sleeping with prostitutes, all the things. Anyway, we're not here to talk about that. If you're watching it, let us know your thoughts on the white rap beef. Like I said, it's not as entertaining as art. It's no pop out. It's not the pop out. I'll go ahead and tell you that, okay? The pop out with Ken and Fred. The only thing
that might pop out are dentures. That is what I've been worried about the most of the night.
Pop
it's like
out.
Everybody gonna keep their teeth in.
Sometimes you gotta strap out a shroness.
You are so.
Hey man, listen. My whole thing is, this is my whole thing. Do we all want Don back? Hell no. Hell to the no. But I'll say this: Democrats, you really done messed around and effed up. That white man, Paul Biden, did the country a great service, even coming out the damn house from all his whole family. He should be an old man sitting up under a tree, putting his grandkids on his knees and playing. He did us a favor 4 years ago to come out here and pop out and show niggas. And y'all couldn't find one Democrat to raise up in this place. This man looking like a damn corpse up here. He looked lost. He looked confused. He looked like he skipped his nap today, prepping for this. Y'all couldn't find nobody nowhere in 4 years' time to prep and raise up for a moment like this against a man with 34 felonies. And he's still up here. He's still up here doing the damn debate. I'm confused. Anyway, we didn't come to you for this. Good evening. Okay.
We're going to reset.
We're reporting live. Okay. After a very long, fulfilling, fun weekend. Okay. It's the 6 month.
We both had a good weekend.
It was.
Even though I didn't. Well, we'll tell you more later.
Yeah. It's the 6th month of the year. It's drawing to a close. June is almost over. So sad.
We have one more birthday tomorrow.
What a great month. Yes, it's my dad's birthday tomorrow. And we're just in assessment mode. Okay. We've been talking about that if you've been here for any length of time this month. We just try to figure out how we can reverse engineer 2020, the rest of 2024, since we've made it this far. Okay. We've come this far by grace. And we had an optimistic, hopeful, incredible side of ourselves that just saw what this year was going to be. And in the 6th month, we may or may not be there. So we decided, why not take some time and look at a couple of key areas of some things that we're just personally dealing with to see if we can reassess that. And we thought, hey, why not bring that to the people to assess as well? So, sorry we got off on a political tangent there, but it's the white rat beef. Anyway, and that thing gonna carry on to the end of the year. I wish Kendrick would come back. He got 5 more in the pocket, 5 more in the chamber, and I want them. But this gonna be going on. Anyway, if any of the things that we said in relation to resetting, recalibrating, refiguring out your 2024, if these are thoughts that have been ringing in your head, you've been talking to people in your family and friend circle about it, or what I just said resonated with you because you've never heard it quite articulated like that before, you should stick around because this episode is for you.
Hi, I'm Pam Williams, a mother.
And I'm Jessica E. Williams, a daughter. And this is a mother and a daughter truthful chat, where we discuss our 35-year multi-layered relationship.
We've been through so many ups and downs. Not only are we family, but we're business partners in the high-stress world of event planning and production for short films.
We've also shared the same therapist for over 10 years. What some people call codependence, we call collaboration.
So join us as we share stories from our lives,
have candid conversations with other mother-daughter duos,
and shed light on the roller coaster ride of being a woman while raising a woman.
All right, y'all. You know what time it is? Mugs up.
My mug has a heart. I need to get some left-handed mugs.
The person that was on it fell off, but anyway, shout out to Women Evolve.
Just so that it
It
works when I could do it that way.
I'm a member of the delegation. Anywho, welcome to Truthful Chats.
Hey, what's in your cup?
Just some lemonade, girl. Simply lemonade. If you're here, give us an affiliate link. We will sell whatever you need to sell.
And I have Simply Limeade. We're Simply Girls at this
We're
house.
Simply Household. This is I think it's blueberry something.
Acai lemonade.
It's delicious.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, welcome to Truthful Chats. This is a show designed to get us to the ongoing practice of creating generational wellness. If you don't know what that term means, good, because we made it up. So if you ever hear anyone using it and it's not related to Truthful Chats or there's no Pam and Jess in front of it, they're not like us. That's all I'm going to say. And you should know what to do as a result of that. I'm not advocating violence. I'm just saying. Don't tell no lies about me. I won't tell truths about you. Anyway, if you're new here, there's a description of Create Generational Wellness somewhere where you're watching this video. And every month at Create Generational Wellness, we have a theme. And Truthful Chats is our weekly podcast series where we unpack the theme of the month just a little bit. So if you are listening to the intro prior to us going off on the white political rap beef tangent.
After we went off on the tangent.
Whatever.
Mm-hmm.
The theme for June has been reset. And today's episode is reset with your community. Okay. I cannot stress how important that is enough, but we'll talk about it as we go through. So tonight we're talking about all things resetting, of course, as we've been this month. We've had some good guests, some good topics. We did like a little
great guests.
Yeah, we had some great guests. We did like a good, you got us some weeks and then some guests some
for
other
2
weeks.
weeks. So we split a month.
We trying things around here. Let us know what tickles your fancy and we'll do more of that. So yeah, when it comes to personal resets, we talked about physical health, financial health. We're always talking about mental and emotional wellness, period. You being better for you being better for your family, you being better for the culture at large. Black culture first, but also for the world because stuff is going on. Anywho, so a lot of the personal reset topics we've been talking about have been like solo dolo moments. Like these are things I don't think you silenced it.
Yeah.
Sorry, we were talking about her phone. If you want to know the context, it was doing beeps and rings. You know, all the technology wants to be a part of the stuff. They're like, we want to be on a podcast too. Like the animals we occasionally have on the show. That just be in the frame or whatever. Except Oliver. Oliver's really a great puppy. And shout out to Norma. We love her. Anyway, a lot of the personal resets we've been talking about has been, again, solo, sort of personal things. And again, we're in June of 2024. We're trying to assess for the rest of the year, what can we do to get us closer to our dreams, goals, and visions? Maybe not everything all at once, but maybe there's like 1 to 3 things you're like, okay, I really am going to figure out how to make that happen before the clock strikes midnight on December 31st. Mm-hmm. So listen, we are not perfect. We are all works in progress. All of the above. I don't know where walks. There's something to walks in progress too.
Here we go.
Anyway, we are approaching all of these subjects with grace for ourselves. We're looking for solutions to help us start or stay encouraged, challenged, and motivated, baby, to keep us on the path of generational wellness. Period. Okay, because you gotta stay the course. Okay, but there's a secret. It's a little secret sauce. Okay, it will make the introverts like myself and those who are ambiverts. We're not really talking to the extroverts, but for the introverts and the people that identify with introvert things, this secret sauce is going to make you cringe. It makes me cringe. But I also know that it's
I think I'm more of an ambivert than
you're an ambivert for sure. I'm an ambivert. I have ambivert moments, but I'm
tell the people what that is.
So usually there's an introvert, which we're very internal, introspective people, and extroverts are external, Everything is about other people. They get charged and energized by being around other people. And
everything is not about other people for extrovert.
That's true.
But they get
charged. I should say they get charged by having other people around. While introverts, we like to be introspective. We like to be to ourselves. We could be outside with you. We'll be around. But once our battery goes down, if y'all saw that video of Kendrick at the Not Like Us shoot, where it's Top and J Rock and Schoolboy Q and all them in front of the trucks of Nickerson, and then he's behind the truck, and you just see his eyes like he's like laughing. He's like, ah, and then he just starts going deep in thought. That's an introvert for you, 100%.
You can be in the middle of a room with people, everybody talking, and everybody's doing everything, but you are so like.
The window starts to close. I'm like, it's too many people, too many noises, too many things.
Let me just go inside myself, Mr. Bird.
And that's because you get recharged from being by yourself. Like that amount of energy being expended around other people is a lot. And they're not good or bad. It just is what it is. And so I remember during the Panini, like a lot of the extroverts were having a hard time because they couldn't be outside around people because that's where they get their energy from. Us introverts were like, my God, hallelujah, thank you. We've been waiting for this our whole lives. Deaths aside, we didn't support that at all. But as an introvert, I do miss those times. So anyway, the secret sauce is that you need other people sometimes. Like your personal resets are good, but sometimes you do need to lean in your community, your friends, your family, your people to help you move forward, because I know I get tired of the sound of my own voice in my own head sometimes, or I need a sounding board or other people to talk through things with, to be like, am I being crazy? Does this make sense? Am I being ridiculous? Like maybe I'm gonna be crying and I just need you to cry with me or laugh with me or be angry, go off with me, or just let me sit there in silence and, just rest in the moment, or, just let me get a lot of stuff off my chest.
Yeah, it's really hard though when you're introverted and you have extrovert friends. Yeah, sometimes they just don't understand why. No, I'm not mad. No, I'm not upset about anything or whatever. I'm enjoying your company, but I'm not.
We don't need all this outward expression. We ain't got to talk all the time. There can't never be no silence. Like, that was a lot of double negatives, but I have college degrees. But it be not a lot, like no silence. Like they can't, like if we having a conversation and we talk, normally in a conversation, there's a general into the sentence. They would jump in immediately right after that because they just can't stand the sound of silence. And for an introvert,
sound of silence.
And for an introvert, that's literally pulling my soul out of my chest to have to just listen to constant rambling. Like we was in a restaurant today at this breakfast place, and these white girls was talking so loud and fast and furious. Like I was like,
they sounded like the flight of the bumblebee, and both of us were like,
"What are y'all doing?" They were extroverts, okay, nerds and extroverts. No disrespect, but it was a lot happening. And anyway, at any rate, whether you're an introvert or extrovert, humans will get on your nerve. That's just a part of life. But humans are, I hate to admit it, meant to exist in communities, okay? And so even as a person who enjoys solitude and recharges by being by myself, I do have times when I want to be around people. So you'll end up always coming back to the people, hopefully the right people. We'll talk about that too a little. But yeah, it can help you. Personal resets sometimes require you to have your community with you, which is what we're talking about. We've done a great job talking about your solo dolo resets and the things that you kind of got to decide on your own. But sometimes you do need other people around you to help you think through, plan, emotionally unpack, do all the things, or just F all that and just have a good time too. You know what I mean? Like sometimes you just need other people to get you to your next place in general.
Yeah, and I think, going back to what we were talking about personal resets, and the reason they are important is because they can address imbalances you might be having in your self-care. It can help you make changes to start making, moving toward a positive personal growth place. But I think something you said a few minutes ago is really important about if you don't have community around you, all that can start to spin around in your head and just be your own voice. And so sometimes it's really important to have that sounding board that can then say to you, you're thinking that, but that may not
Right.
be necessarily the right.
Or you have a blind spot to that particular area
Yeah.
where you need to reset or grow or whatever, because we all don't always see ourselves the way other people see us, or you might be hitting your head against the same thing repeatedly, and like somebody can be
There's
like, your pattern is to do this,
it's
right?
to
Like,
this. Yeah.
you always get to this point and then you stop, or you start, or you self-sabotage, or whatever your thing is. So it's sometimes just very helpful to have an outside eye. We usually recommend that be a therapist. We talked to ours today.
Speaking of which, yes, we had a lovely joint session with our therapist today.
Actually in person, and we haven't been in person in like 4 years. I would say 4 or 5 years.
4 or 5 years. That was the first time we had been to see our therapist in a brick and mortar building.
I'm gonna be honest with you, maybe it's the introvert in me, didn't make a difference. Like, it was good to see him and like physically hug him, but like didn't make a difference to me.
I enjoyed it.
It was the same.
I'll get some more.
I was really glad on the phone as in person.
It's the same energy, but he had a whiteboard and he was putting things up, and we were going
Sunday
through
school
the things
teacher
and all the
was
things.
very excited.
So I really enjoyed that, and I think he helped us do a really good reset. Like, he helped us see things from each other's perspective, which is what he's always good at doing. But usually our sessions are separate. So usually he talks to me first, and then he talks to Jess, and then he'll kind of, tell me some things, cross communicate. But to be in the room in real time and be able to cross communicate and have him interject and moderate and draw things out, I think it was.
Because our communication is not always the best.
Yeah, but I think that was a really good reset. So sometimes your community doesn't have to be 1 million people. It may just be one other person. Mm-hmm. So that was, for us, that was our complete therapeutic community being together at the same time. Mm-hmm. The 3 of us being there was a really good reset. What else have I been doing that I personally have been doing? Oh, for the last first half of the year, first 2 months of the year, I wasn't there, but from March to Monday, I had a physical reset because I had a different physical therapist than the one that I have been going to for the last year. So I can literally feel a reset in my physical body. I feel stronger. I'm able to walk faster. I'm able to stand up straighter. I feel like I just have
physical reset.
I've had a physical reset in the last 3 or 4 months, which I actually didn't have in my mind at the beginning of the year. Like, it wasn't a thing that I was like, I really need to have a physical reset. But once I started doing it, and that was a community, because I had a community of therapists, a community of practitioners.
You can't PT yourself. You can, but like,
I had 2 doctors and 2 aides. And between the 4 of them and me, that was my physical therapist community. And they celebrated when I had my last session Monday. But everybody could see, I'm walking faster, I'm standing up straighter. It doesn't take me forever to get in and out of the car. I can go up and down stairs with both feet. Y'all don't know about that.
How your body's supposed to work.
Yeah. So again, resets, sometimes they're physical, but I can tell you that physical reset has also helped my mental and emotional reset, I think, because I was feeling really vulnerable, because my body wasn't doing what I wanted it to do. And so I think that reset is now helping all the rest of it and kind of flowing into. So again, I'm saying all that to say it's a community reset, but it's flowing into your personal reset, which is then resetting your personal growth, your emotional clarity, your physical stability, your mental capacity. All of those things work together. And as the reset happens, you'll start to see, like we always say, you put the pebble in the water and the ripples are going to go out and go different places. Yeah. And, most of the time people wait for a major, like, you do a reset around your birthday or you do a reset around New Year. But I think this going through, we're doing it at 6 months, but I saw
You could do it
something.
in 3 months.
Yeah, I saw something on Instagram where this girl was talking about how she does a quarterly reset. And she had it was a cute little workbook. I downloaded it because, I'm the Instagram download Sunday school. Like she says, teacher, I got to write things down.
School, honey.
But it was a good workbook on how to do a reset or a reboot, as she calls it, quarterly. So find what works for you, but just be willing to say, I may need some other people to help me into this personal reset journey. So that's what we're talking about, really, overall. We talked about our therapist. That's one person. I talked about my physical therapist. That's another person. And each group does a little something different, right?
Each group does a little something different. Yeah, because having the opportunity to do personal resets within community, and if it's the right community for you, which we've talked about that.
For sure.
We've talked about that in previous episodes, so please go back and look for those. Anything having to do with friendships or relational things, like they'll be in the title somewhere. Just go look at those to figure out who you need to keep on board, kick off board, onboard new people, maybe switch them around. Maybe they don't need to be like quite as close to you as they have been. So it's a lot of assessment. But if it's the right community, it could be really a secret sauce and a really great superpower, because having close family and friends around really can enhance your personal reset experience. Like I said, if these are not people that are draining you or taking from you or any things of that nature. And having communal experiences together gives you the opportunity to foster more meaningful connections and relationships with people you might think you know, right, already. But put yourself in a different kind of environment with that person, you might discover something completely different. And we're talking about in a positive mindset, okay? We all know about them situations where y'all went on a thing and then y'all was all in Cancun and everything got messed up because
people was throwing drinks
and some dark secrets came out and somebody didn't have enough money, and like we know that. We're not talking about that though.
Somebody was in somebody's room when they weren't supposed to be in somebody.
Everybody got too drunk and some secrets came out. We're not talking about that. We're talking about actual positive, fun, personal reset with the right group of people that is energizing for you and not taking away from you. So yeah, you can foster more meaningful relationships. You can have deeper conversations, because when you sort of in the hustle and bustle of everyday life and work and this, like some things you just don't get to talk about or explore, think about. And you have a
clap, as our therapist tells us.
And you have an opportunity to have a greater sense of community, give each other mutual support, nurture relationships, right? Either new relationships or like y'all might see each other in passing in regular life, but now it's like, oh, we're in this very specified place, location at this very specific time. Like we don't ever sit down and talk like back in LA, like let's, go grab some coffee or do this or do something we would normally do so we can get to know each other better. Which, is that a fly? Did you see that?
I did not.
My dad probably bought us some groceries and the fly came in. Sorry, I really got it. This why I can't go to, we was talking about this on my vacation. I can't go to Halloween Horror Nights or none of them escape rooms where things jump out, because the reflex, I just nuck if you buck. It just happens. Anyway, reset. And you get to strengthen your relationships in a way that you might not have in any other context. And you get to create lasting memories by offering a sense of shared experience and camaraderie, man. Like that's really super, super important. And again, it's all about communal personal resets are about the opportunity to strengthen your relationships, because again, you have opportunities to learn about people in a
different way
that you might not have previously. You get to think on a deeper level in a new setting, right? Because you're not like in a routine of the stuff that y'all normally do or whoever's house y'all normally be at, or whatever. Like you're in a completely different thing. And you get this shared adventure experience, right? It's cool to be able to be like, I did this thing with these people. Like this is a memory that only we have together and nobody else has. And then through osmosis of the trip, right? You just have deeper conversations, you share vulnerabilities, you offer support to one another. Hopefully we're talking again, good support, not I finally get to tell you about yourself because we're on this trip. We're not talking about that. That's not what we're talking about.
And we're talking about a trip in particular because Jess just went on a trip. So we'll talk about that a little bit more. But
yeah,
the community reset does not necessarily have to be going away. But I do think it's important to change the routine.
Yeah. It should be something. It shouldn't feel like we could just do this at any time, I think.
Yeah. I think you should
in order
set
for it to
some
be
intentional,
a meaningful experience.
Intentionality around we're going to do a community reset.
Yeah, because I think you get to be perceived and seen in a different light, and so do the other people if you sort of switch up some of the elements, so that it just doesn't feel like a regular Tuesday or a regular Sunday or whatever. I think everybody needs a little shaking up, okay? A little pizzazz, a little spontaneity, some fun.
Let's talk about the trips though,
yeah,
and then we'll come back around to what it can look like if you're not taking a trip, like some ideas about that.
So we did this in 2022, fresh out of the panini when they was like, y'all can go outside and y'all won't kill each other. And so it was my birthday and I was like, hey, we should go to Vegas. Now, part of this is because the R&B stars aligned in a way that I don't know that I'll ever see again. But 3 of my favorite artists were going to be in Vegas within a week of each other. So we did this trip in 2 weekends. We stayed with a family member in between. So don't think we was balling out of control because we weren't. But it was a main thing of like, hey, we're going to be in Vegas. We're going to these 3 concerts on these 3 days. You're more than welcome to stay with us if y'all want to get a room with us, or if not, stay in your own spot. These are the group activities. Just come join us. So we did in 2022. Super fun. It's interesting. The same group from that trip is completely different than the group that did this trip. The people that did this trip, I didn't even know, except for Jesse, I didn't even know these people 2 years ago. So they couldn't even gone on the trip if they wanted to. So it's
which
like
I think is really
a new crop of friends. Yeah, which is cool.
Which we can unpack that a little bit. I would like for you to unpack that a little bit. What does that mean for you in terms of, and you still have the old friends? Let's make that clear.
Oh yeah, it's not like nobody fell out. That trip.
All those other people are still friends, and they met the new friends.
Yeah.
So I think that's a really cool dynamic that you should talk about a little bit.
Hey, hold on, I just want to shout out Jessie. She's on here. Okay, come on, losing control of mobility. The body is hard. Yes, Pam, you're getting stronger.
Yeah.
And 100% on the intention. You got to be intentional. I would say that.
So there was one overlap because
Jesse came
on both in 2022 and again in 2024. But it was exciting for me because you have a whole new crop of friends.
Yeah.
Like
Pammy didn't go on this trip.
The last one I felt like I needed to. I wanted to go. It was a big birthday. It was 35. And then this birthday was 37. So I was like, I don't know that I have to go. And the particular artists you were going to see were not any of my favorites. It was the R&B
Money tour, and it was amazing. Shout out to Tank, Carrie Hilson, Carl Thomas, Dave Hollister, Lonnie, and of course, Jay Valentine. Shout out to the R&B Money podcast. Like, y'all really did. It was. Tank went to the Renaissance tour and was like, I can't do all of this, but I can do some of it. And he went forth to execute. So anyway, Pammy didn't go this time, but go ahead and say what you're saying.
So I think the ability, and I've always admired this about you, the ability to have your friends interact and intersect with each other and there not be any beef or any strangeness or whatever, because I feel like that speaks to you being 100% authentic in all of your relationships. So people don't get one Jess over here and another Jess over there, and you don't have to change up and you don't have to be this way or that way when you're with that crowd and this way when you're with this crowd. Mm-hmm. So I think because of that, your friends are able to intersect with each other and it be authentic, and there's a sense of community even when people haven't known each other for 5 years. Like your friends that you've known for 15 years are comfortable with the friends that you've only known for a
year or 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. And even one of my oldest friends lives in Vegas, so we saw him while we were there.
Like a childhood friend.
Like he's known me my entire, we know each other our entire life. Granted, college, you know what I mean? Like we don't see each other as regularly, but like he was like, "Oh, you in town? I'm coming." And if he was here, I'll do the same thing.
Drop everything.
And I was actually thinking about that actually after this trip to be like, I'm sort of an open book. I mean, I think there's definitely some friends I cuss around a little bit more than others. But like that's like the major like.
Okay.
I mean, I'm saying, you know, you would say that more than others. But yeah, I think that comes to like that speaks to, and I don't like to toot my own horn about stuff, but the staying consistent in character. I'm not a person who likes to have to pretend, or even though I am a storyteller and an artist, like I'm not a person that likes to have to pretend to be a bunch of different people all at once. I just am authentically who I am, and that attracts or repels who it attracts and repels. But I think people know that if they coming into my world and my sphere, like y'all gotta get along. And if you can't do that, then you know what I'm saying? Like I'm a Gemini. It's really nothing for me to just be like, bye-bye, honey.
What's wrong with you?
Bye-bye, honey. And usually like, and I think that says something to like anybody who want to know anything about me, I'm an open book. If you want to know anything about me, my mama is right here. I'm doing a whole podcast for her. My dad is always around. My aunties, my uncles, my cousins. You want you want to know somebody that knew me when I was 6? You can find somebody that knew me when I was 6, when I was 12, when I was 13, when I was 23. Like there's not gonna really be any surprises. There's not like I'm not like, oh, I hide my church friends from my school friends, from my like everybody
work friends
from my so like. And I think some of my work friends, we're not as close anymore just because we used to work intensely, like 14, 16 hours a day for months, right? And then, you know, you see these people later and like so much has changed. So my work friends are a little different, but consistent.
You had, I remember the birthday, not the second pandemic birthday when we were in the park, but not the first pandemic birthday in the park, but the second pandemic
here
in the backyard. Yeah.
That was like 30 something.
A cross section of friends. Friends from work, friends from church, family friends, all of them. And again, the intersection of that community worked and always seems to work for a reset for you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even if it is around your birthday or whenever you all get together, your high school friends that you've had, whenever you all get together, I feel like there's a reset. You know what I mean?
And they were a part of my birthday this year too. Like we went to the museum. Like we did a lot of things on the day of my birthday, which is June 8th. So this Vegas trip was just like an additional thing. But yeah, like we did a whole scope of activities, and that was a whole lot of people. We went to go see Bad Boys and ate and did a whole bunch of things. So yeah, I just like to create. I think after the pandemic, I started really, as we all were, assessing and prioritizing what was important. And it's always been important to me to have good quality people around and to create really lasting, cool memories. And I think because death was so present every day and it's present every day,
yeah.
But like really present for 3 years. And we were watching people die and drop like flies and like go here today, gone tomorrow, just from doing very simple things. I think, you know, I was like, money's cool, career's cool, but like this is really like the gold, right? This is the life secret sauce to be able to be like, I've had these experiences with these people that are ours and no one can take them away from us. And if we all, for whatever reason, God forbid, pass on tomorrow, we have all these cool things that we could reflect on. And now we got to know each other better because of. So the Vegas trip was cool, man. And like I said, these were people who, aside from Jesse, the 3 men that we went on, I actually looked at the picture. It was like 7 women last time and 1 dude, which was Brandon. And then Brandon didn't even go this time. It was me, Jesse, and Rodney, Matt, and JP. Like it was just a whole different cross section of people. But it was still fun. And I feel like we traveled well together. We did a lot of fun activities in Vegas, things that got us to like work together and do teamwork, and we ate really good and we listened to amazing music, and like it was really like a fun time. Thanks, Jess. I appreciate that. And I really do enjoy my friends. Like I enjoy quality time is my love. I think it's my second. It used to be my first. Words of affirmation is my first now, which I guess. But quality time is definitely number 2. So that's very important to me. I get filled and excited about those things. So that's what I'm saying in terms of like, and then there are all kinds of trips like this, right? Like that was just a fun like birthday reset trip. Like people were like, thank you, Jess. This is a really great idea. I haven't taken a vacation in 3 years. Like this is the first time I've done something for myself in a long time. Like the vibe is cool. We're having a good time. Now it was hard. We were very tired that first day. I do not recommend starting a trip not having gone to sleep, but sometimes it happens. So you just got to like catch up in between. We were using actives. Shout out to Dr. Nina and the Plexus to stay awake. But that can be hard. But even then, you know, people get into flare-ups when they hangry or tired or whatever. And it really wasn't none of that because I prayed. But also people know I don't play that. But yeah, there are all types of these sort of communal resets, right? Like ours was really a birthday trip. It was fun. It was R&B. It was a chance to go to Vegas. Some people had never been to Vegas before, so that was cool. Some people were frequent Vegas people because they gamble. But there's all kind of trips like this. Like we talk about girls trips and guys trips and retreats that are very specific, like couples retreats or singles retreats, or, you know, those retreats like where people are actually, you know, in the mix or in the trenches with counselors or therapists or like those kind of things, which I think are more intense communal resets. Like we was just trying to have fun. Like that was really the intention of this, was to create,
and the reset is a byproduct
to create lasting memories.
Because again, it takes you to a different emotional state. And
Right.
you know, we talk about, you know, what gets released in your brain when the dopamine and the cortisol and whatever. So when you're in that state where you're having fun and it's energizing and you're relaxed and you're with people you love, there's a dopamine release in your brain and the chemicals and the endorphins that then cause other things to react in a positive way. So it is easier for your emotional well-being to be better because of that hit, you know?
And not to say that we didn't have a trying week prior to. Like it was a lot of personal things, a lot of emotional things. Some of the travel plans got a little hectic. Like it was, you know, the rooms, Vegas was really tripping. Airbnb was tripping. But we all were like, okay, like we're not going to let this get us down. We going to, you know, rise above this, like feel your feelings, be in your feelings. But by the time we get to Vegas, you know what I mean? It's go time on unlimited joy, as much as we can possibly do. And some of us stayed together. Some people had separate rooms because they was like, listen, I don't play about my sleep. When I'm ready to go sleep, I'm ready to go sleep. So it all really worked out. But I think you just got to be confident in that and know the people you traveling with. But also, we all had never traveled together. So we were like, we'll see how this goes.
It could be bad or it could be good.
Thank God we travel well together. It actually really worked out. But yeah, if you talk about conferences, business retreats like this, these, I don't think we think of these as personal resets in communal spaces, but they are. Like that's why conferences are like life-changing. It's because you go maybe with a group of people or maybe by yourself to somewhere, whether it's a church conference or a business thing or whatever, and then you leave with
a yoga retreat, whatever.
Information. You leave better. You've had this dopamine, this communal experience together, and hopefully you leave better than when you came. You know what I mean? I think that is the point. But the combination has got to be the right people, because if it's not the right people, this how you get into.
You talking about having a stressful week before you guys went. You remember there was a series, maybe about 3 or 4 years, where me and my friends would always go away the weekend after Thanksgiving. So the weekend before the week of Thanksgiving was always really stressful for us because we were planning Thanksgiving, and sometimes
y'all scaled that thing back down though.
We used to at some point have, you know, it could go from anywhere from 25 to 50 people for Thanksgiving dinner. And we cooked together. So it was like, okay, you're making this, you're making that, I'm making this, I'm making that.
Which is a communal experience.
That's a communal experience as well. But then once that was all over, our thing was the day after Thanksgiving, we are going away.
To recharge and reset.
All
that output.
For 3 to 4 days. So we would leave on Friday. Everybody had plenty of leftovers. Nobody, you know, a lot of times when women go away, we tend to take on, okay, well, what's everybody going to eat and how this goes? It's Thanksgiving. Everybody got food for the weekend.
We got food.
So we would take off and we would go we've been as far away as Northern California in a Airbnb before they called it that. They called it was Verbo, just Verbo there.
Oh, is this Verbo?
But they rebranded too. But we would go away and we would get a house in the mountains, by the lake, by the river, wherever, by the beach.
Recharging
and resetting in community. And I think one of the things, our therapist asked you this morning when you were in Vegas this week, did you have any time for personal reflection? And
I did.
And I think that is one of the biggest things we used to do on those trips is that we would all have our communal time or whatever. But if you wanted to sit in the window seat and look out the window, and somebody else wanted to go for a walk and somebody else wanted to go for the beach or whatever, a walk on the beach, nobody was like, we have to do this at this.
Yeah. Some A-type personality people, that's why I say it has to be the right combination. So
combination.
If you're hearing us talking, you're like, wow, that sounds amazing, but you've never experienced that. Like that sounds fun and cool. But I've had some really nightmarish experiences. Please go back and see some of the episodes about revamping your friendships and also knowing and communication. If that's a friend you love and you value and they have an A-type personality, just give them something to do. Let them help you with that itinerary. Not to say that about my friends, because we had a great time playing the itinerary. But
you know what I did notice about the itinerary? Stuff got dropped off. Y'all were not
because I set the tone of this itinerary is flexible. Like when people start getting crazy, like a couple people was like they sticklers for time because that's how they was raised. We not on that, bro. Like the itinerary is like flexible. You dig? Like if we hit a certain time and your body clock turn off, we're not going to that. Now we are going to the concert. That was like that was the one thing that was like a non-negotiable because we had clearly paid for our tickets. But anything else, I was like, if we decide we don't want to eat there or the wait is too long or whatever, we're not going to do it. And so I think that took anxiety off of them to be like, oh, we could do that. I'm like, Nick, this is not one of them like, get up, let's go. It's 7:00. But we try to honor everybody's wishes, right? And we've been on trips with people who are like that, and it is very stressful. I'd be like, wow, I just paid all this money for you to disrupt my sleep. Wow, that's deep. Now, granted, we might have been, 5-10 minutes behind in schedule, whatever, but we gave each other grace. But we were like, listen, man, we running a little behind, but we'll get there. So I think it gave everybody the freedom to relax, but I set the tone for that. I remember the first day I was anxious because I was so tired and I knew everybody else was tired. And I was like, but this is your birthday trip. Like, you got to turn up for these people. Like, they came to support you. Like, and I had to really talk myself out of being like, why are you being so anxious? Like, let everybody feel their feels. We're about to eat some good food. Like, it's cool. Everybody's tired. Like, let's all go take naps. Or we just going to call it a night really early. You know what I mean? But we went, we took naps, we recharged, and then we stayed out till about 1, which in your 30s is doing good in Vegas. So we were like, okay, and then we went to sleep, and then we woke up the next day.
Almost your 40s.
Listen, so you gotta. That's the other thing. You gotta know yourself, self-awareness. You gotta know what age and stage you're at. That next day, Sunday, when I woke up, we got a good amount of sleep because I had not slept pretty much the whole day before. But I started with meditation and stretching, the things I would normally do so I could be in the right mind. And then Monday, we didn't do a damn thing. We was laid by the pool because we was like, we don't feel like doing all that running around. But I did have time to myself because I went to go visit my auntie and my friends didn't go. So I was in the car for about 40 minutes by myself, just thinking through the trip, thinking about how I felt. I was proud of myself that I let all that anxiety and stress that I was feeling go. I was like, okay, you found time to sleep. I was just thinking about some things. And if I had sadness in some areas or something, it was weird for me to be like, oh, I'm going to have a long time on this trip. Like, okay, cool. So I could just sit back and reflect. And it did turn into nothing serious, but I had my time. So you can do, even in a personal reset moment, you can have communal situations, but you still have
be in a communal situation.
You can be in a communal situation, still have time for yourself and let everybody sort of do their thing without being like, Nick, we got the itinerary. Nick, what? 2 of them things got dropped. We was like, the price was crazy anyway. We tired. We wasn't gonna make that reservation, and it was fine. Nobody died because we didn't go to that restaurant. You know what I'm saying? It was like we found something else to do, so it was cool. Just these events can be positive, okay? They can be restorative.
They
You can have
should
fun.
be positive and restorative.
And
Otherwise,
it's
probably not a good reset.
Yeah, and communal personal resets.
Yeah, if
that's
you
possible.
go somewhere to
and you're
reset
drained,
and you come back and you're not better, or you're drained, or you're angry, or you're frustrated. One thing I love y'all said about your trip was everybody kept saying, we didn't spend as much money as we thought.
No, we did not.
You didn't overspend. You didn't whatever.
No, we did not.
All those things are part of what am I trying to say? Bringing yourself into alignment.
Space and alignment. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I think that's what we're talking about.
Alignment.
Having you're in alignment, and the people with you are on the same vein of alignment. That don't mean you don't have to be exactly like each other. Doesn't mean.
But you want alignment,
right? You won't have your own quirks and personalities, but y'all are all headed on the same path, which is peace, fun, rejuvenation, no drama. Okay, and whoever's the person that sets the tone for that sets the tone for that. And if you can't get in line, then maybe you won't be on the next trip with us. We didn't have that happen to us. But I'm just saying, for you, if you got that friend and people turned up, you know what I'm saying? People, they did their thing, but we took care of each other in those moments. It wasn't like, all right, well, we just finna leave you right here and then leave you open to the wolves. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's Vegas. Anything can happen. Literally, my friend turned to me in my face while he was there. He said, it's a lot of swingers in Vegas. I said, why would you... Like, I got why he was saying it, because we were like, yeah, these white people was really in our face. And he was like, it's a lot of swingers in Vegas. They might have been, trying to see if you was with the stuff. And I was like, see. And we had to keep reminding each other. Which happened the last time. And we had to keep reminding each other we was in a red state. I said that numerous times. And at one point, JP was like, why you keep saying that? And I said, just to remind ourselves as we're going through and interacting with people and doing things or whatever, like, this is a red state, so open carry state. Like, we are we live in Cali, which is a blue state. But these people out here don't abide by the same rules, so we just got to tread lightly around here. But anyway, we hope this was helpful. And like anything else, you might have to do some personal work, okay, on yourself, for yourself, by yourself.
Before you go on a communal
Before reset. You start trying to go on a communal reset.
Oh, you know what else I wanted to talk about
before that's fine. And to, maybe uproot, change some things, move some stuff around. Because communal personal reset should be part of your creating generational wellness process. I think it's very, very helpful to be able to be yourself, your authentic, genuine self in a space with people that you are authentically, genuinely comfortable with. Hopefully they'll feel the same way with you, and you create some lasting memories, some deep conversations. Like, we had some deep conversations. Just, people like, hey, I wonder about this. Like, what you think about this? Like, what? Like, and we kind of have those conversations all the time, but it just felt like, oh, we have so much more leeway to get into more depth about this, or like, that's why you feel like, why do you feel like that? Like, oh, is that a trauma point for you? Like, we kind of always having these conversations, but we had a lot more just time and energy to be around each other. That's not super, super scheduled or super rigid. We had a great time with all of our Uber drivers. Like, we really became like the customers that hyped the Uber driver up. Like, we was like, yes, you better pull through this traffic. Like, yes, you better get us there on time. Like, they had a good time with us. So, but what did you want to talk about?
I wanted to talk about, if you can't go on a trip, how do you create communal reset moments
in your
without
space?
having to go away? Yeah, like with your friends or whatever. What are some suggestions? Like, for us, I have my two besties. Our communal reset space is the beach. Thanks. Like, we are, when anybody calls and goes, hey, we need a beach day, we know that means there are things that we just need to go and talk and relax, and hear the waves, hear the water, put our feet up, and just, it's the three of us, and we just gone reset.
That's a space to reset and recharge.
That's our space to reset in community. Yeah. And we've done trips away, but when it works out
what's
that we
near you can.
Yeah, when it works out that we can't go, then what do? We were supposed to go to the beach Monday, and it worked. Everybody couldn't go, but two of us were like, no, we need to start the reset today. We cannot wait until whenever else we get around to it. So then we were in a coffee shop for almost 3 hours.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So again, that was a communal reset for us. It's just a matter of getting outside of just you
and your normal routine
and doing something that is intentional about, resetting. We're talking about the burnout session, which I'm really looking forward to.
Oh yeah, we do have to. Jess, we got to figure that out. By the way, this is also something we do. We do a lot of karaoke at the crib. We did karaoke in Vegas, actually in our favorite spot in Vegas. But we do a lot of karaoke. Just been throwing incredible events this summer. Thank you, Jess, to get us in that space to like communally recharge, forget about all the foolishness, right, and just have a good time. I think. Going to parks. We've been a couple concerts here in LA, right? Just like day things.
Oh yeah.
We went to go see Masego at Netflix is a Joke, which was incredible.
Me and your dad went to Hollywood.
Yeah, I went to Hollywood Bowl on Juneteenth. We watched the Pop Out. Okay, we had a watch party
in
community.
Yeah, it was a watch party.
Thank you, Matt, for that.
Let's see.
We do game nights. We had a backyard book. Like we're gonna be doing. What are we doing tomorrow? It's something for my dad's birthday or Saturday. So yeah, just having these opportunities and our family has always been about that, like having communal events to, help you get out your funk, help you get out your own head, give you space to talk. It's all communal. Oh, sorry. I don't know if y'all can hear that buzzing. Bishop Brandon is going in right now. But spaces where you can recharge, you can relax, you can authentically be yourself, breathe. And
talk about the burnout session, because I haven't done one, but I'm really looking forward to it. And I think that is a really, really great idea.
So burnouts are they could be for anything, but we're talking about career stuff and being in a creative space, particularly as entrepreneurs, creatives. Nipsey Hussle really talked about that. That was a beautiful part of the pop out. He really should have been there, but I'll let it go. He saw it from wherever he was, but he used to talk about if they are, and people do it in corporate America, like it's not a new concept, but if there's something you really are struggling with or wanting to work on or something you want to get going, he just get you and a couple of your friends in the room and y'all work for like 12 hours straight, 10 to 12 hours straight on something. And that's helpful in that if there's an idea that you've been stuck on or trying to think through, like my mind, I'm a creative, but sometimes my logistical brain just doesn't connect all the dots. Like I'm like, I can see it, but I don't know how to do it. She could be very logistical. Jess is very logistical. Like there are some other like brains. So when you have other brains in the room, it's the same thing we're talking about for emotional and mental stimulation of like having a therapist. If you've been thinking about like, why can't you get over this trauma from when you were 10, like your therapist could say something that completely unlock it. It will be the same thing in a burnout session. We 10 to 12 hours. Maybe you pick one thing that you're working on. Like, man, I got this book I really want to write.
Brain out, not burnout.
No, burnout.
It's burnout. Okay.
But it's a burnout session in terms of like you're expending all your energies to be like, maybe there's this book I'm working on and I got 2 pages. How can y'all help me, work on this? Like these are the top 3 things I'm working on for this. Or I'm building a website. I got all the elements, but I don't know which site to use. Squarespace. Okay, cool. Show me how to use it real quick, or show me how to use Wix or whatever. And then you guys collectively come together, help that person work on it. But whatever it is, hopefully like 1 or 2 people come in with something they're like dying to work on. And you have accountability there. You have other creative brains, logistical minds, just stuff like entities and people around to help you really push your idea forward in a burnout session for your brain and for your creative waves and to get your juices flowing creatively and to execute.
Soon. I'm very excited. That's a communal reset. I'm really
that's
looking forward to. I've done it in a corporate space, but I'm really excited to think about doing it in a creative entrepreneurial space.
A career communal reset, and you get to showcase your expertise. You know what I mean, which is cool in a way that doesn't feel overbearing or overwhelming, or people trying to stunt. You know how sometimes when you do it at work, it's like your coworker be trying to stunt on you in a meeting. Like it's not really none of that. These are all people you already have community and fellowship with, and so you just respect the expertise, and y'all all just get in the room and just go crazy and burn out. So that's definitely something we're going to be doing personally, and then we'll see. So as we wrap up, would y'all like what kind of communal resetting type situations have y'all been in? We're talking about the positive kind. We don't want to hear about your girls trip where all y'all don't speak anymore. I'm sorry for you, but go back and watch some other episodes. Perhaps you can repair that. But any personal reset, communal ideas you have or things that have worked out for you, we'd love to hear about them. And then we're also wondering if we were to plan something like this. I don't know that it's going to be Vegas or anything like that. But if you were to plan sort of a personal reset communal event of some sort, what would y'all want to see? Like, what would you want it to be about? Would you want it to be physical? Would you want it to be mental wellness? You know, would you want it to be
a little bit of all the things?
Would you want it to be a little bit of the things? We just want to hear your thoughts and what you think will be helpful and beneficial. Because we just be sharing what we be going through, but we like, that's just us. What do you want? So yeah, this has been June, man. It's been a good month. It's given me a lot to think about. I'm glad that this trip was the culmination of the month and that I could talk about it and talk about the experiences and how great it was. Thank you to my friends that came. Thank you to my friends that came 2 years ago too. Like that was in the Usher residency days, so it was a really good time. And yeah, I'm sure I'll be doing more of those. That's not open to the public at this particular time, so you'll just have to keep hearing about those. But we will do some. We're really interested in doing some events to
something small
to get all the Create Generational Wellness fam together in one place. To be able to talk about the topics that we care about. But you ain't gonna know what we doing, okay, at all. If you are not subscribed, okay, on YouTube, IG, Facebook, fan base, all of the things, just follow us, man. I was like, just get tapped in, stay tapped in, as we continue to build this thing. And who knows, after our burnout session, a lot of things about this podcast might be revamped. We just go ahead and tell you that because we have some brilliant minds around us that will help us make it better than it is right now. But we are learning in real time, and we appreciate y'all rocking with us and telling people about it. And
be well.
We want you to be well because we want to be well, man. We want to be well.
Creating generational wellness.
Yeah, we want to be well. We want the people around us to be well. We want to have a better world so that we don't have felons on the debate stage.
Running for president.
It must be great to be a white man in America. I don't know what that means. But hey. Anyway,
love y'all.
Y'all have a lovely night. Great weekend. If you're celebrating that American holiday,
which is actually next Thursday.
I know. I thought about that today when I saw the calendar. I mean, we'll be
here. What?
We'll be here.
Is the 4th of July?
What is the 4th of July to the Negro?
To the Negro,
as Frederick Douglass once said.
We'll be here.
We did our independence.
Yeah,
okay, it was Juneteenth, and we had to pop out, and it was the ancestors must have been so pleased. Anyway, but if you're gonna be doing America's little birthday or whatever,
we'll be here.
Enjoy yourself.
You can come through.
But after you did all that, if you're like, I'm so sick of these people because your introvert kicked in, just come on through. We'll be here at 7 p.m. for y'all. And we'll see you next week.
All right.
Bye.